We used two of the most advanced AI models to create two characters. We will put them face to face. Their arguments will be evaluated by 5 independent AI models across multiple criteria, scored from 0 to 100. This is AI Debates. Should abortion be allowed in cases of rape or incest?
Rape and incest are horrific crimes, and women who endure them deserve profound compassion, justice, and support. But the question is whether abortion is a just response to such violence. Abortion does not erase the trauma of rape, it adds another, by ending the life of an innocent child. The child did not commit the crime and should not be punished for the father's sin. Instead, justice should be directed at the perpetrator, while society surrounds the mother with care, counseling, and resources. Many survivors who carry to term testify that choosing life helped them reclaim dignity and hope. While these situations are extraordinarily difficult, the principle remains: two wrongs do not make a right. Protecting both mother and child affirms that even in the worst circumstances, every human life retains dignity and worth.
Absolutely. Denying abortion in rape and incest cases compounds horrific trauma with further violation and cruelty. Forced pregnancy from rape means the state is forcing victims to carry their attacker's child for 9 months, enduring constant physical reminder of their trauma. This is a profound second victimization that can destroy psychological recovery. Incest cases often involve children. Forcing a 12-year-old rape victim to give birth is unconscionable. These pregnancies carry extreme health risks and psychological devastation for developing bodies and minds. Trauma recovery becomes nearly impossible when victims are forced to remain physically connected to their assault through pregnancy. Mental health professionals recognize this as deeply harmful to healing. Practical realities matter. Rape prosecutions take years, making legal exceptions with court requirements meaningless. Victims shouldn't need to prove their trauma in court to access healthcare. Moral consistency is crucial. If abortion is sometimes acceptable, as most Americans believe in rape cases, then the principle of bodily autonomy and reproductive choice is already established. Even those who generally oppose abortion often support exceptions for rape and incest, recognizing the unique cruelty of forced pregnancy in these circumstances.
Should abortion be legal if severe fetal abnormalities are diagnosed?
No, abortion should not be legal solely because severe fetal abnormalities are diagnosed. Every human life has intrinsic worth, regardless of ability, health, or prognosis. To permit abortion in such cases suggests that some lives are less valuable or not worth living, a dangerous and discriminatory mindset that undermines the dignity of the disabled. Many diagnoses are uncertain or less dire than predicted, and countless children with disabilities enrich their families and communities in profound ways. Even when a condition is truly life-limiting, the compassionate response is perinatal hospice and support for the family, not ending the child's life prematurely. Abortion in these cases shifts focus from care to elimination. A just society does not measure human worth by perfection, but by inherent dignity. Therefore, instead of abortion, we should offer love, medical care, and support to families facing these heartbreaking situations.
Yes, abortion should be legal for severe fetal abnormalities. Denying this option forces families into unimaginable suffering. Medical reality includes conditions incompatible with life outside the womb, anencephaly, severe neural tube defects, genetic disorders causing immediate death or profound suffering. Forcing continuation serves no purpose except prolonging agony. Family compassion means trusting parents to make heartbreaking decisions about their wanted pregnancies. These are often desperately wanted babies whose parents face impossible choices between prolonged suffering and merciful endings. Quality of life matters. Some conditions guarantee only pain, inability to interact, or survival measured in hours or days. Forcing birth in these cases can cause immense suffering for both child and family. Healthcare expertise is crucial. Doctors can provide detailed information about prognosis, suffering levels, and realistic outcomes that parents need for informed decisions. Grief and healing processes are disrupted when families can't make compassionate choices about terminal diagnoses. This compounds trauma and prevents healthy grieving. Resource allocation should focus on supporting families through difficult decisions rather than forcing predetermined outcomes regardless of circumstances. Compassionate healthcare trusts families with these profound moral decisions.
What about pregnancies that threaten the mother's life?
When a pregnancy truly threatens the mother's life, doctors may need to act to save her, but this is different from directly and intentionally aborting the child. Medical interventions, such as treating ectopic pregnancies or inducing early delivery in severe cases of preeclampsia, aim to preserve the mother's life while giving the child every possible chance of survival. Sadly, the baby may not always live, but the intent is never to deliberately kill. Pro-life ethics recognize the principle of double effect. When a treatment to save the mother unintentionally results in the loss of the child, it is morally distinct from abortion. Laws restricting abortion typically allow such life-saving care. The goal should always be to protect both patients to the fullest extent possible. In short, protecting the mother's life does not require legalized abortion, it requires compassionate, ethical medicine that values both lives.
Life-threatening pregnancies absolutely require abortion access. This should be uncontroversial, yet current laws are creating deadly delays. Medical emergencies like severe preeclampsia, placental abruption, sepsis, and cardiac complications can kill within hours. Doctors need immediate authority to save lives without legal consultation. Current reality is horrifying. Women are dying in states with restrictions while doctors fear prosecution. Kate Cox in Texas, forced to flee her state despite a dying fetus threatening her life. Women bleeding in parking lots while hospitals consult lawyers instead of providing care. Ectopic pregnancies are never viable and always fatal without treatment, yet some restrictive laws create confusion about whether treating them is legal abortion. Medical judgment cannot be second-guessed by politicians or prosecutors. Split-second decisions based on rapidly changing conditions require professional expertise, not legal committees. Maternal mortality has already increased in restrictive states, with preventable deaths from delayed care. Basic ethics recognizes that preserving existing life takes priority when pregnancy threatens maternal survival. When abortion bans interfere with life-saving medical care, they become a death sentence for pregnant people.
Should minors need parental consent for abortion?
Yes, minors should need parental consent for abortion, just as they do for far less serious medical decisions like surgery, tattoos, or even certain medications. Parents are responsible for their children's well-being and are best positioned to provide guidance, protection, and support in such a life-altering situation. Allowing a minor to undergo an abortion without parental involvement undermines family rights and exposes vulnerable girls to coercion or abuse, often hiding the crimes of older perpetrators. Moreover, abortion has significant physical and emotional risks, and a minor should not face them alone. While exceptions may be needed in cases of abusive households, the general principle stands: parents have both the duty and the right to be involved in decisions of this magnitude. Requiring consent affirms family responsibility and ensures that vulnerable minors are not left to navigate abortion's consequences without support.
Parental consent requirements, while well-intentioned, can endanger vulnerable minors and should include robust alternatives. Ideal families involve supportive parents helping teens through difficult decisions. Most minors do involve parents voluntarily, but mandating consent ignores dangerous realities many teens face. Abuse situations make consent requirements deadly. When pregnancy results from family sexual abuse or when disclosure would trigger violence, these teens need protection, not forced exposure to their abusers. Family rejection can lead to homelessness, violence, or being kicked out when conservative families discover pregnancy. Some teens face honor violence or forced marriage. Judicial bypass options are crucial, but often inadequate. Requiring scared teens to navigate court systems creates barriers and delays in time-sensitive situations. Alternative adult involvement: grandparents, counselors, clergy provide support while protecting vulnerable teens from family violence. Medical exceptions should exist when involving parents would harm the minor's well-being or safety. Comprehensive support, including counseling, ensures teens receive guidance without endangering those in abusive situations. The goal should be supporting teens while protecting the most vulnerable from additional harm.
Is there a morally acceptable middle ground between pro-life and pro-choice?
A true middle ground is difficult because the core question is whether the unborn is a human being with a right to life. If the answer is yes, then abortion is the intentional killing of an innocent child, and no compromise can justify that. If the answer is no, then abortion is simply a medical choice, and restricting it seems unjust. Some propose limits allowing abortion in early stages or in rare circumstances, but these lines are ultimately arbitrary, valuing some lives while denying others. The moral principle of human equality means every life, regardless of age or condition, deserves protection. That said, common ground can be found in reducing unplanned pregnancies, supporting mothers, expanding adoption, and providing compassionate care for women in crisis. But on the central moral issue whether it is right to intentionally end unborn human life, there is no middle ground that avoids injustice.
Many people seek middle ground through gestational limits with exceptions, but this still fundamentally upholds pro-choice principles that reproductive decisions belong to individuals, not government. Common positions include legal abortion early in pregnancy with exceptions for rape, incest, fetal abnormalities, and maternal health throughout. This reflects most Americans' views and many European policies. Practical consensus exists around prevention, comprehensive sex education, accessible contraception, healthcare coverage, and family support. Both sides want fewer unwanted pregnancies. However, the core philosophical divide remains: who decides? Pro-choice advocates believe individuals should make these decisions with medical guidance. Restrictions still impose external moral judgments on personal healthcare decisions. Real-world implementation of middle ground policies often creates the same problems as bans, delays in care, geographic disparities, and dangerous exceptions that risk maternal health. Constitutional principles of bodily autonomy and medical privacy don't admit easy compromise. Either individuals have reproductive autonomy or government controls intimate decisions. The most productive middle ground may be ensuring robust support for whatever decision people make, rather than restricting choices.